Kurt Bardella, the co-host of the Party Lines podcast. Kurt himself an expert on the world of country music over the years, and be joined as well by the entertainment journalist Segun Oduolowu. Kurt, let me go to you first on this. Thoughts when you heard about it? It's just like I said at the top. I think this is true because it's not true of all public figures. Everybody loved Dolly Parton. I don't think anybody ever heard anyone say a bad thing about her, and that seemed to be the prevailing sentiment when we heard about her death today.
Beloved. The word icon gets thrown a lot around a lot in entertainment and music, but she is was one of the true icons that transcended genre. And that's always so hard, I think, in pop culture, when, you can get pigeonholed, typecast, have your 15 minutes of fame, but the longevity and the ability to cross over outside of country music and to become truly a feminist icon that had longevity and relevancy almost every single decade ever since she arrived on the scene. That is remarkable. That is almost unheard of. And the barriers that she broke down and paved the way. Right now, the number one song in the world, right, is Ella Langley's "Choose" in Texas. We don't get to that point here in culture if not for the things that Dolly Parton did along the way.
No, those are all.
Absolutely, there will be. I mean, she was supposed to be at an industry event last week, actually called ACM Honors. Kind of Country Music has it every year at the Ryman Auditorium, and she accepted her honor virtually. And so, it was known certainly in the country music community that she wasn't in the greatest of health. But I think, again, when something like this, it's hard to imagine a world in which Dolly Parton isn't on it, I think is part of why there's so much shock right now, and why so many of us, when we got that alert, did a double take and just couldn't believe it. But I do think that one of her enduring legacies outside of just being an artist and entertainer was her entrepreneurship. She came along at a time where women did not take control of their careers or their money. And she was able to, commercially, reach a level of success you just don't see, even today.
Yeah, people talk about Taylor Swift, but this was Taylor Swift
she was the
before
original,
Taylor Swift.
I mean, from Dolly, which she just opened just a few months ago, like a giant, amazing rest stop in Tennessee that's completely Dolly themed. And for those of us in Texas who know about Buc-ee's, this would have rivaled that. So even at this stage of life, she was still being an entrepreneur. She was still looking to do more. And I think that's really important and instructive for the next women of country who have come along.
Think about anyone, Kurt, in your own life. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. If everyone says the same thing about you, it's probably true. And in this case, it's probably true about Dolly Parton. What about that point and there's, the work with Kenny Rogers and others, the work with so many other people in collaboration over the years?
I mean, from Miley Cyrus to Brad Paisley to Kenny Rogers, Lainey Wilson, and I think that's one of the things about Dolly, and I've had the chance to watch this up close in my life through country music, of how the care she took of the next generation, the time that she invested, knowing that when she walks into a room, it's Dolly Parton. There are people who are freaking out, who have platinum records and Grammys on their shelf, and when she walks in, they freak out. They become a fan, and she always took great care of them and went out of her way to try to collaborate with them, to try to give them a moment. I've seen it at award shows like the ACM Awards, where she does a whole ensemble with the next generation of country music female artists, and she was so giving in that way, and so aware of the fact that she was a role model to these women, and so many of them have asked to collaborate with her and in a genre where everybody wants to team up with everybody. We see it all the time. Her answer was always yes, and that says something, whether you were the biggest star in the world or just getting started.
A final thing, I know Segun covers all of this. He's an entertainment journalist after all, but I've always wondered, Kurt, because you're great on politics. We have you on all the time. But you're an expert, you know about this, Segun, in two things. Professional wrestling, he knows more than anyone should know, and this kind of stuff. And you really do know it like a true expert. So how did that start?
I'm a diehard country music fan ever since I went to my first live show in May of 2010. And I started as an active therapy in 2016 because politics got a little different in 2016. Not going to say good, better, just got a little different. So I started a daily morning email called The Morning Hangover about what's going on in country music. And much to my shock, everyone in Nashville started reading it. And I've been doing it every day ever since.
It's a good story. And we're glad you could be part of our coverage today.